Is this thing on? Okay, there we go. Hello guys, and welcome to my PS1 collection showcase video updated. Now, as you guys know, I collect plenty of PS1 games, and as you can see, the shelf's empty right now, but don't worry, they haven't gone anywhere. They're at my feet as we speak, and I'm gonna go through them alphabetically as well as categorically, like racing games, MISC, and then Japanese and licensed games. And we're gonna start off with racing games because they're the least interesting. But before we do that, I'm gonna get a few things off my chest. So first off, don't get any ideas. This is the closest I will ever get to Gran Turismo Sport. I just wanted this controller because I wanted to have something, you know, personalized for me, because for me GT2 and GT in general is my childhood, and the logo is just very cool. I grew up with the franchise racing, so for me it's a very cool addition. And that out of the way, here's my consoles. So first off, there's obviously the PS2 Slim. It is quite slim, so sometimes I use this, but I actually mainly use my fat PS2. Just what you'd expect. And for this, I recently bought an add-on, and that would be the hard drive. I'm gonna get it out of this wrapping. I just keep it here because it's safe here. So it's the official PS2 hard drive. So you can install the games on it, and you know, loading times will be really good because it's loaded from a hard disk rather than optical drive. So I'm gonna install this later sometime. And the controller wasn't the only thing I want to get off my chest, because I might as well go through the accessories and stuff before I move on to the games. And well, here's my PS4 itself, not just the controller which I own, but also the PS4. And you can see it's the earlier model, one of the first PS4 models, if not the first I got, and was pretty upset when PS4 Pro was announced. Like, I already got the old PS4 and then suddenly Pro gets announced, so I'm still stuck with this one. However, this isn't the very first PS4 I owned. And why? Well, actually, the first PS4 was faulty. Like, it kept turning off itself randomly, and then we took it to warranty service, and they didn't actually fix it the first time. They just gave it back like, yeah, it's fixed. But it wasn't fixed, so we had to take it to the warranty service one more time, and then they gave up and admitted their mistake and gave us a new PS4, and that's the one lying there now. And it works, so that's good at least. However, in process, because I don't have PlayStation Plus account, I can't save my games to cloud, so I lost my Ratchet & Clank save up until that point, but I wasn't that far in the game. I don't even know how far, but still, my playthrough of that game was efficiently cut off right there, and I'm not planning on continuing it, just gonna casually play it through now. And the consoles aside, well, here's some PS1 stuff, because I actually only showed you PS2 so far, as well as PS4 obviously. I obviously have the official PlayStation case, but I don't actually keep my games here. There's just other games that are not actually mine, like my big sis used to play Tomb Raider a lot back in the day. So we still have those games and such, and they're actually in there in the box. I can show you them last. And then this I got recently, and it's a PS1 game showcase case, kind of a stand where you can put like 7 to 8 games. Well, this is nothing special really. I thought it was a cool find. Just popped in my eyes, and I bought it for like what, €5, so not a huge loss anyway. I might as well put a few games here. Who knows? But you know, there probably would be what the hell would I pick for it? What the hell would I showcase in this? And then all the controllers I have, save for the PS4 ones, but they're separate. The very original PlayStation controller, you can see there's no analog and there's no vibration, so it's very light. And I use this for games that don't have vibration or analog, like Exhumed, Destruction Derby, and actually Crash Team Racing 2, because it's, well, if I speedrun it, it would be better without analog. So we have that, and along with that, the same time I got that controller, I also got these, the gun cons, and these are obviously used only for a very few games, but either way, it was really cool to find these. And then I have the PlayStation multi-tap, the fucking boomerang, and this is obviously used for playing multiplayer games exceeding just the regular 2. So like Crash Team Racing, Crash Bash, Crash games mostly, and Crash Team Racing obviously in other games, but those are just for examples, Crash games. And this is actually a brand new controller I got. It was still in its own box, but despite that, it's a little bit faulty, I think, because the analog, the left analog which you use for steering in driving games, feels a little awkward. I can't put my finger on it, and it's a little bit askew from the center, but other than that, it's obviously what you'd expect from Mint. Totally unused up until now. So this is the Emerald edition. And lastly, when it comes to controllers, I have the normal PS2 DualShock controller. I have 3 of these. This is the first one, and then I have 2 more. I mean, the first one of the whole pack. I have 2 others. And that's the controllers and hard drives. But now we're gonna move on to the very close friends of gaming, PlayStation users, memory cards. And these 2, they are not significant, and you can tell already that they are not official Sony ones, but they're third party. But here's the official cards. I have 4 of them now, and you can see one of them is slightly tainted, but that doesn't really matter, because that'll actually help me distinguish it from the others, because I have like MISC games saved here, and you can like racing games, one of these and stuff. So it actually helps me distinguish, because I don't dare put a name tag on this, because I want to keep them clean forever. And then we have PS2 memory cards, and I wanted different colors, because I only had the black ones, 2 of these initially, but now I got a blue one, and then I got a red one, and these are all from Sony. And here's 2 more PS2 memory cards. I know there's a lot of PS2 stuff in here, but I do play PS2 games as well, and I wanted to get these off my chest before we move on to the games. And I do have actually 2 PS1 consoles, but they're not here. They're still at mom's, but I don't actually use them. The original one we had is still existing, and it's actually modded. We used to play a lot of burnt games back in the day, but nowadays I obviously despise piracy, except having WinRAR forever. And then I have the other one. It came with the gun cons and the analog-less PS1 controller from the same lot. It was at a flea market, and I had to get it, so I had to get the PS1 as well and everything that was in the lot. But now we shall move into the games, and obviously I said that I will go through them alphabetically, And we will start with racing. And first off, Colin McRae Rally. I don't have much to say about this game because I haven't really played Colin McRae much in my life, but even though the game was the first in the series, it's still very good. And yeah, but obviously Colin McRae Rally 2 was a huge step up in physics as well as graphics, obviously. And this is still like a significant game on PC. Like, I'm not saying that it's sold on Steam, and the one that's actually sold on Steam is a fucking farce. It's actually the mobile version of Colin McRae Rally just remastered, and it has like what, 4 different locations for different cars, so very small game, very disappointing, so they should have just brought that back instead. So there's my 2 Colin McRae Rallies. And then one of the most popular and wanted PS1 games, Crash Team Racing. I initially had this at Platinum only, but I wanted to get a black label, and sadly this is not a perfect one. The disc is fine, but just look at the fucking manual. It's in pages, pages. But apart from the broken manual, it's good. And here they advertise the multi-tap. And this game was very significant in my childhood as well. I played this a lot back in the day. I'm telling my mom how proud I was when I beat nitrous oxide at Slide Coliseum, but you know, that's one of the easiest tracks to beat him at. Great game. And then Destruction Derby 1. I actually used to play this a lot on my cousin's copy. I used to loan it and then, borrow, loan, whatever. But now I decided to get my own copy. And this is actually the second copy I have. I have another one right there. This is actually the big box version. And the sole reason why this has a big box is because it has 2 manuals. Because, you know, there's Germany, Italian, French, English, you know. So it actually took 2 manuals to fit in here. And that's the only reason why it's big, but it only has 1 disc. So yeah, very good game, and I actually value this more than Destruction Derby 2, funny enough. Just because it makes more sense with the points, because in Destruction Derby 2 you can easily exploit the game, just stand in the middle of the road, get hit, and get ridiculously points. And then Driver 2. I also played this some amount in my childhood, but I played Driver more with my cousin. And fond memories from this game, and the most fun is hitting the cars on their bottom when they're sideways. You can get that launch or get the car launched. And then the legendary, most sold ever game for PS1, Gran Turismo, the original. I don't have a lot to say about this game, honestly, because I still to this day don't like this game. Just because the physics are bad, not that many cars, the game is really short, but we still had a lot of fun with this, with my cousin in the childhood. In fact, we played this even more in Gran Turismo 2 because we never had copies. I had the Platinum copy of Gran Turismo 2 back in the day, and now I have a black label. And I had to get rid of that Platinum copy, and it actually made me sad because it was my childhood. I played that game like, what, the most out of them. But because I was careless as a kid, as you would imagine, this got quickly scratched and it was unplayable. So now I finally have a scratchless copy, although it has very small like hair scratches because I've used it, obviously, the disc. And it's only natural that it gets worn when used. But still the discs are like mint. And I can show you, that's not all. Apart from obviously the manual, we have a driving strategy guide. I never knew that GT2 came with one of these. So, you know, spin turns, advanced technique, basic technique. actually haven't looked into this, but it's really interesting because I never knew there was actually one of those. And then, fucking fake info says you can fit 600 cars, but that's not true. You can only fit 100, but it only says 600 because the game has 600 in total. And then this, I don't know if it actually works. I've tried, but I can't seem to get it to work. But maybe it only worked out when it was, you know, still new in stores, but now it's obviously maybe lost its scent. But yeah, legendary game, and I still play it a lot today, speedrunning it now and then, casually hot lapping and stuff. And yet another game that I played with my cousin, Mobile 1 Rally Championship. We didn't play this much, but it was still a cool game back in the day, and I like it today a lot too, even though the physics are really weird, but I got used to them and I speedrun that like twice so far. So I'm planning to do another run on this game. So it has a really weird physics. They're hard to get into. If you slide too much, then you slow down like you hit a wall. And all the cars are front wheel drives, especially from the cars that you initially have. But apparently you can unlock WRC cars. I don't know how yet, but I'll look into that. And this game actually has more stages than the PC version. And that's because in PC they were longer, so they went for quality over quantity. But in PS1 there are slightly more stages, but they're still pretty long, like several minutes each, except for like night stages, which are always shorter. And then one game I never owned up until recently, like the recent years. I got this brand new from a local shop that's here, that sells PS1 games and PS2 games still factory sealed, but there's nothing for me there at the moment. And I played the demo of this game and I was really curious how the full game is, and I had mixed feelings. Like, the game itself is decent, but there's only 4 locations and like only 2 different variations. So the game itself isn't that big, but it's kind of cool to speedrun. I need to get back into that as well. Not much to say about that game, it's just really small, so it lacks content. Then I also played the copy of this, demo of this, and I decided to get myself the full game. And I gotta say, I was really disappointed. I was expecting for a long carrier mode, but it takes easily less than an hour to complete, like win the whole thing, even if you lose a few times. But now I've experienced it, and I'm still not done with the game because this game actually has plenty of cars to be unlocked, so I'd have to play it in order to unlock them. And there's Ridge Racer High Spec demo, but this doesn't have it with it, so it's not complete in box, but who needs the demo anyway? And then Toka 2 touring cars. I actually put this for sale at one point, but no one was willing to buy it, but that's only obvious. This is a very popular game and not that interesting because it's just racing. Like sports games, they don't sell that well. But you know, since no one was willing to buy this and I kinda lost patience, I might as well keep it in my collection. And this is actually in very good condition too. Let me double check. Yeah, the disc has only a few slight scratches, so it's still pretty good. And not much to say about this game either, really. It's just good racing. And then another one of my most recent purchases, Total Driving. It's a very rare game by EUTECHNYX. That's how it's typed, but I don't know how that's called. Eutechnix, probably something like that. And this game, yeah, it's really rare. I heard from this game from a Finnish YouTuber that makes videos on PS1 games, and I decided to get myself a copy. Unfortunately for me, I grabbed one that's pretty much scratchless. The only problem is that the cover pick is cut out, so it doesn't, you know, stay in place. So I need to get a new one, but I don't want to print, so I need to get an original. And oh, the case is still intact. Cool. And this was a very interesting game. It's very tough to beat if you're not that good of a racer. It took me a while to beat the game. And to fully beat the game, you have to unlock all tracks with different teams. There's like 6 to 7 to 8 teams. I forgot how many. But you know, if you unlock tracks with one team and then try to enter the races with another team, you can't, because you have to unlock them with every single team. So it takes really long to play through the game 100%. So I'm satisfied for now that I beat the game with one team, won all of the races. And that was honestly a really cool game. It's arcade, but it had a unique feel to it, and I'm definitely gonna play it later when I feel like it, and, you know, progress in the game and unlock all tracks for all teams eventually. And then we have Wii Rally 2. Yeah, so I don't actually remember how I got this, but this particular copy, this came out just today in the mail. And the reason for that is because I have, hold on, it's on the bottom, fuck it. Had this copy first, and I still have, because I haven't been able to sell it. It has a huge crack in the case, and it's the best of Infogrames, so it's pretty much worthless, but it can still be sold for a fair bit of money because the disc is scratchless. So this is pretty much new, only the case is broken for both sides. But now I wanted to get myself a black label, and I'm gonna be honest, this is one of the best rally games I've played. It's really good, but it has a unique feel to it, and I've only speedrun it like a few times, and I won't get back into it anytime soon. And yeah, I beat it 100% a long time ago. I streamed all those sessions. But yeah, look this up. This is a really good rally game. Even though it's more arcade than Colin McRae Rally, it's still worth trying out. But do not try the first Wii Rally. I've heard it's really horrendous, and I didn't dare buy it yet. When I was talking about that shop that sells PS1 games still factory sealed, there's actually the first Wii Rally there, but I didn't dare buy it because, you know, wait, actually, I wonder if it was one of those 2-in-1 boxes. Oh well. But I didn't dare buy it just because the game is bad. And then, one of my jewels in my collection, Wipeout 3 Special Edition. This was only released in Europe, the PAL region. And I actually owned this game as a child, but back then I didn't understand shit like about games value, so I just was a stupid one and sold it. Just because I lost interest. And to be honest, even today I don't like to play this game a lot, but it's still good to have in your shelf, you know? Whenever you feel like you can just grab it and play and not like, oh, I need to buy this game again, I miss it. So this time I'm not gonna let go of it, at least easily. Because it's actually really valuable. Not one of the most valuable PS1 games, but you still get several 10 euros for it. And then its original counterpart, the normal Wipeout 3. And the difference between these two is that the special edition has 8 tracks from earlier Wipeout titles remastered for the game, and then some physics changes, so small changes, new effects, stuff like that, some, you know, adjustments, but mainly the tracks are the difference. And then I had 2 of these 2-in-1 boxes, and this one has the original Colin McRae Rally, and here's where I first tried it out, as well as took up World Touring Cars, and I'm planning to buy that game separately one day, but for now I'm just happy to have this so I can play it in the first place. And I wouldn't mind getting rid of these completely, but they're very rare, these 2-in-1 boxes, that I might as well keep a few of them. And then the other one with Colin McRae Rally 2 and No Fear Mountain. It No Fear Downhill Mountain Biking. I was even speaking Finnish back there. But yeah, I tried the biking game and it's really funny. I might as well speedrun it one day just for shits and giggles. It's kind of interesting how it works in PS1. And then obviously Colin McGraw 2. Not much to say about it, we already discussed it. And that's all of my racing games. Let me stack them up onto the shelf. Oh. And then after that we move to missed games, as I call them. And I'm also glad I made this video, so now I had to sort the games alphabetically so I didn't have to do it later, so they're there, up there now. And right off the bat, one of the rarest games, Crash Bandicoot 2, and you can see the box is actually has a black frame, and that's really rare, or at least I think it is. And this is a Scandinavian copy, obviously, because I want to, if possible, if it exists, I want to have all games with Scandinavian, so they have Finnish in the back as well as Swedish and the other North countries. Yeah, I remember when we received that game, albeit platinum, but either way, back in the day, and we were really excited to play that with my cousin, with my sis. And then, just like with Gran Turismo 2, the game just got so scratched that it didn't work anymore. But now I can relieve that those childhood memories with the game again. Now that I have it again, it's pretty scratched, but it still works, so that's the main thing. And then Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped. We also played this back in the day, but the disc was burnt, and we actually played on the NTSC copy, so I got really used to hearing Sony Computer Entertainment Europe. I mean, oh, fuck, that was Crash Bash. I mean, I was so used to hearing Sony Computer Entertainment America presents. So when I suddenly heard Sony Computer Entertainment Europe presents, I was like, huh? Because I was so used to playing the American version of it. But that's just the past. It stays there. I won't play burnt games anymore. I won't be a bad boy anymore. So now we stick to PAL. And then Crash Bash, also one game we played some amount back in the day. I still wish I could play with 4 players with the multi-tap, but good luck finding someone who's willing to play this game and would be good at it, not like, I might as well play, see what happens. Not much to say about that game, but it's really challenging to complete 100%. And then another rare title, Critical Depth. This is actually a car demolition game, like, how should I put it? Well, it's just, yeah. Oh, car combat game. Combat game with cars, but this is actually not. This is with submarines, so this is like a Rocket Trip. We will go over that in a bit. But this is from the same developers, but this is just underwater. So same game otherwise, pretty much, but with ships. And this is really hard to beat. At least it was for the first time when I beat the mission mode. And I'm planning to speed run this one day, but I need to practice a lot. There's this person, Louis Parson, that was able to beat the game with ease really fast and does the same for Rocket Trip, and I actually asked him if he wanted to join me on the guest to speedrun the games, but he said he's done with the games, and I don't wonder at all why, because he beat them really fast. Rocket Trip I can still do almost as fast as he can, but Critical Depth, this is fucking hard to beat. And then Exhumed. This is known as Power Slave in the America. And I also played the demo of this game back in the day, and now I finally, well, this is actually several years old. I don't even remember when I got this game. It's been, heck, I don't know how long. almost 10 years since I got this copy. And this is a cool game. Don't get me wrong, it's a cool game and all, but it's really short and it gets really easy and kind of loses its point when you speedrun the game. Like, bosses are easy, levels are passed really quickly. But when you played it for the first time, completed it for the first time, it was really cool. But sadly, I can't have that impression anymore because I speedrun this game, so I know how to go optimally. And bosses and such don't catch me off guard anymore. But still, it's a very good game. It's a first-person shooter like Doom, Duke Nukem 3D, and has the build engine, was it? Yeah, I think it was. And this is very different on PC actually, as well as Sega Saturn, but the Saturn version is still much closer to PlayStation, but the PC MS-DOS version is completely different. I wouldn't mind trying that out. And then, I might as well show you these two at the same time. Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2, and you can see they are the same case too. These are both like mint. They have the maps as well. Discs are scratchless, and I'm not actually a huge GTA fan. I do like GTA 5 and playing online, but I don't like the GTA series in general. So I got this mostly for fun, but I'm glad I did. Now I have both in great condition, and I should continue GTA 1 one day, and when I finish that I move on to 2, but we'll see. And then we have Medieval. I played the demo of Medieval 2 one day, and then I decided I should get myself one, and this is the first one. I started a save on it some days ago, and I should continue it one day, but I haven't felt like it yet. And yes, there's a sticker, but I'm gonna keep it there because it's in every copy of Medieval, unless someone's taken it off. And I will get Medieval 2 one day, but for now I only have the first one. Pretty cool game. And then we move on to yet another game I played the demo of but never owned the copy. Monster Trucks. Sadly, the case is broken, but it has the contents and the disc is in decent condition. Yep. And when I played it, I had no issues anyway. So I'm glad I got this. I actually had... There's this auction site where I got some of my games, and you can set a bot there to look for listings for you. And when I saw that Monster Trucks has popped up, I immediately got and bought this without a second thought. This is really rare to find. And in the America, this game is known as Thunder Truck Rally. So if you've played that game, then you'll know what it is. But in Europe, it's known as Monster Trucks. I love how the games are called in Europe. Some games are really stupidly named in America. And then another game that arrived today. There was actually a bunch of games that came today. Myst. I don't know a lot about this, but this is supposed to be like a first-person point-and-click adventure game. And again, I don't know a lot about it, but it'll be interesting to go through. So first-person point-and-click adventure. It's like you have to solve puzzles, kind of like what's the word? Well, I'll get to there in a moment. Oh yeah, it's like escape room, you know, when you have to try to make your way out, make use of different items to bust out. And then this I've actually played on full version, but we never played the game through. I just played the first level mainly. This was like a meme game with me and cousin. We never bothered to play this much, but now I got my own copy, and I need to do a playthrough on this game as well someday. And this is also for PC, and I actually bought a PC copy of this game for Fusimi, one of my mods and friends. So he wanted to have the PC copy, but I'm happy with the PS1 copy. Not much to say about this game, but it's another very... It's not like valuable, but it's rare. And then I might as well show you these two at the same time as well. Raymans 1 and 2. That's it. I don't have anything to say about these games. I'm still stuck in Rayman 1, and that's fucking difficult to beat, especially for a first timer, so I'll get to that back to that at one point, but for now I just I'm gonna forget about this game and just keep it in my shelf to control my anger. And then, as we just spoke about Myst, this is the sequel. Riven, the sequel to Myst. And this is funny. This is one of the few games on PS1 that has 5 discs. So first you can see the initial reaction, oh there's one disc. Then you remove the manual, oh there's another disc. But wait, there's yet another tab, as you would say in browser and stuff. 2 other discs, but where's the 5th? I was figuring that out for a moment. I was like, where the hell is it? But turns out it opens from the middle and it's there. A very clever way to hide the 5th disc. And each of these discs are almost scratchless, so I'm really glad that I got a very, very decent SID. And since this is a continuation of the original Myst, I'm gonna be playing this after I beat Myst, but still. A really cool find, and both of these actually came for multiple platforms, including MS-DOS, I think. So some of you guys may know this or not know. And if you don't, it's not a surprise. This is a pretty rare game, like unknown. And another pretty obscure game, Robotron X. I played the demo of this game and I really wanted to get the full game, and I finally found one listed on that same auction site, and I got it without a second thought, though it was actually an auction, not just buy now like you could do in eBay. But I was really disappointed at how difficult the game is. Like, it's incredibly hard to beat the levels. Like, as you progress through the game, the levels get harder and harder. And since the game is very badly optimized, it lags a lot because there are a lot of robots on screen at the same time. The game lags like hell, and it's difficult to play with that, especially on PAL. On NTSC might be a little easier, but still. I was really disappointed that it's so hard to play in PlayStation. Otherwise the game is great. Like, it's an arcade shooting game, like the original Robotron, which was Robotron 2064 or 8, whatever, and that was top-down view, but this is actually a remake from 3D view. And I also got this game for PC. Well, you can see it actually there. And I love playing it on PC. It's so much easier on PC. Look, you can like pass the levels like it's nothing. So I don't know why PlayStation is so much harder for some reason, but obviously the lag is one of the reasons, but the game seems harder too. So that's a bummer. And even more of a bummer is that I can't record the PC version because it's, you know, it's an old game, so it doesn't work that well. So there's no way to record it other than, you know, point the webcam at the screen, but that would be very bad. I tried to do one test stream like that, but it didn't really work out and doesn't look pretty, so I can't record it at all. Only thing I can do is record that piece of shit, but since it's on PlayStation, it's just a pain to play. Anyway, moving along, and as I was talking about Critical Death, this is by the same developers. Rocket Trip Vacation 2012. We also played this a lot back in the day with my cousin. And this is also a car combat game, and this time car combat with actual vehicles instead of driving vehicles instead of submarines and ships. This is fairly easy to beat, the game, since I've speedrun this a few times. Much easier to do than Critical Death for sure. And this is a lot of fun to play 2-player if you know how to play this game. I recommend you check this game out. It's really cool. We played this plenty back in the day. And then Spyro 2. This is yet another game that came today. I actually forgot to mention about Riven there. So Myst, Riven, this, and then there's one other game which we will get into soon. Well, actually, at the end of the video, really, because I go through the categories. So yeah, here's Spyro 2. We didn't get to play this a lot back in the day because we never got a copy. Well, I guess we borrowed one at one point. And I'm still in the process of 100% in this game, but it's much better than the first Spyro. I didn't like the first Spyro too much. So this and 3 are cool. But for some reason, for me, like out of Crash and Spyro, the second installment is the better. Warped is alright. Year of the Dragon is alright, but for some reason for me, the second installments are always the best for those two. There's something I need to clean off Spyro's face. But yeah. And I actually lost money getting this exact copy. I already had Spyro 2 Black Label, the same thing. And this is exactly the same condition, pretty much as the previous one. A scratched disc, but if it works then it's alright. But I just lost some money because I got the earlier copy for cheaper, and now I paid more and got like the exact same, so it's really hard to trust sellers, and yeah, you never know how well they're able to describe what condition the game's in, but if this works then that's good enough. And that's all for the Myst games. I'm gonna stack them up on the shelf there. And much like the categories themselves, I have them categorized in the shelves as well. So this is the next step. I can just fit every one of them here. And the reason why I had Driver 2 with the racing games is because it doesn't fit into this file, or rather pile. So I had to put it somewhere else. Those two are now, well, yeah, fully stacked, so no more can fit. And then we move on to the licensed games. And by that I mean they are like movies, cartoons, brands that they made games out of. And first one, 102 Dalmatians. We played this like far back in time. Almost 20 years ago. I was like 4 or 5 years old then, and I'll be 23 in October, by the way. And this is a British copy still. I had to buy this off Amazon because it's really hard to find one of these in Finland. So for now I have a British copy. But pretty much all the rest of my games are Scandinavian copies, or if it doesn't exist, then the one that was released throughout Europe. And not much to say about this game. This is practically Spyro, but with puppies instead. And instead of gathering gems, you gather bones. But yeah, not much to say about this game. It doesn't have a lot of replay value, but it was still fun to play again. And it seems so different at places, because it had been almost 20 years since I last played this. Or even watched this. I don't remember if I even played this game. But yeah. One of the cool... I said that the game itself doesn't have much replay value, but it actually has minigames, and one of them is mini golf. So if someone wants to play golf but we can't go outside, then there's always this game. So it is also a party game, partly. And then yet another game that I played a demo of but never owned the copy. Bugs Bunny Lost in Time. And this is also a fairly valuable game, if I'm correct. And I'm still in the process of completing this game. Haven't had the interest to continue, especially when I'm really confused at the moment what I should do. But yeah, I'll figure it out, but it's an alright game. Not the worst, but not the best either. And then we have a really funny game. Story Studio. well, Disney story studio Mulan. And this is just pretty much a point and click game with mini games and stuff. And it's, yeah, for ages 5 and up. So it's not really that interesting. And this exact copy I got just recently. I was pondering when I visited that local shop here. I was like, I really want to buy this, but I won't be playing the game, so do I really have to? And since the games cost quite a bit there, even if it's just the most basic game, it costs like 20 euros there, so I didn't dare buy it up until now. Because the copy we have right there actually on that pile is quite worn. I mean, it works, but it's worn, so now I got a brand new one, and I will take good care of this so I can sell it onwards one day. But yeah, not so much to say about this game. It's really easy. It's meant for kids. One of those point and click games, funny ones. But then we have a better Disney game, one that's more worth playing. Hold on. The disc is moving here. That's not good. But it's still scratchless, so no worries. And this game we played back in the day when it was burnt disc, but it doesn't work anymore because it's so worn. And this is a pretty decent game. I still haven't finished this 100%, but I will one day, once I feel like it again. I have a lot of games that are still in progress, but I haven't felt like finishing them. It's a pretty cool game. Oh, I haven't remembered to take off that tag. I found this from a flea market. And for a flea market game, this is in very good condition. The disc was almost scratchless. Oh fuck, I can't even get the tag off. It's too firmly glued into it. Ah, fuck it. And obviously the Scandinavian version saying Visastenkivi, which is Philosopher's Stone. And it's actually a very cool game, but the end boss, the final boss, it's so anticlimactic and just weird. And obviously the voice acting in the Finnish version is just hilarious. So, and I'm not a Harry Potter fan, not in the slightest really, but I decided to get this because we played this back in the day when it was burnt, like all the others, except for a few like Gran Turismo 2 obviously. But I just decided to get this, and this was in really good condition for a flea market game, so why not? And then Hugo 2, and we had this burnt as well, and still have, but I decided to get a legit copy. I don't know what to say about this game, but it's extremely hard to beat in one sitting. You can save the game, of course, but I've tried to beat it with my friend in one sitting, but we haven't been able to. It's like there are these few levels that are very hard and you need plenty of extra lives, but the way to get extra lives is to collect these money bags or gold packs, gold coin bags, whatever. But it's randomized when you get extra lives, so sometimes you can end up with only a few, and sometimes you get a crap ton and still die, like lose all of your lives. And then we have Lego Racers. We also played this some amount back in the day, and I decided to keep it in my collection. No one was interested to buy it. It was good stuff. It's really easy to beat, especially if you know what you're doing, but it's just a game. A racing game. And I know it's a racing game, but like I said, I can't fit any more into that pile, plus it fits with the licensed game category. And then there's Lucky Luke. We also played this with my cousin this time, not my close family. And it's a really short game and kinda easy, but it's still a decent game. Not much to say about this one. And lastly, before we move on to the last category and the last of my games, Sheepdog and Wolf, known as Sheep Rider in America. This is really difficult when you're playing this for the first time, especially when you were a kid. There are puzzles that are very complex or just, you know, take a few attempts or something. And I just recently played the game through in a few streams, in a few sessions. Not many people were watching, but I'm not surprised. This is a very obscure game. But still, definitely gonna keep this in my collection. And now, before we move on to the Japanese, I'm gonna stack these up right there. And as you can see, I could fit more here, but oh wait, actually put it on the lower level because I have my Japanese ones here. As you can see, I could fit more, but since I won't be getting any games for a while, and since I won't be getting any of at least licensed games by Japanese, maybe we'll see later. And first off, Ape Escape. I'm also gonna plan playing this for the first time sometime, but not interested yet. That fucking sticker mark there. And this is a game I found from a flea market, a new kind, in our neighbor city, and I was really surprised that this disc is scratchless. So I was really fortunate to find this. It's literally scratchless. Well, okay, a few very small scratches you can barely see at first glance. But it doesn't have a manual, so that's the only con. As well as that fucking sticker mark. And I remember my big sis played that back in the day, but I don't remember much of it. And then a meme game, this Strega. It's pretty much a it's not Tekken, but it's more like Dragon Ball. It's kind of like Dragon Ball. Like you can jump, you can shoot energy blasts, and also do hand-to-hand combat. And the story of this game is really like, yeah, I do that kind of thing. It's really vague, it's really silly. So they just had to do some kind of story so the game can exist. But the story aside, the game's pretty fun to play with a competitive opponent. The friend with whom I played the Hugo 2 game with and still haven't beaten it on first try. He tried this game for the first time and quickly mastered it. He absolutely kicked my ass in this game. But yeah. And I played the copy of this game as well before getting the full copy. Well, I still like a manual in case it's broken, but it's a start. And then, another one of my crown jewels, Devil Dice. And I have another copy right there, but that was ordered from Amazon, because this is really rare to find in Finland. If you happen to find this, then fuck, you're lucky. And I saw a listing for this and I had to get it because, as I said earlier, I want to get all my copies as Scandinavian if possible. And there's your proof, Finnish flag. And yeah, this is a really fun puzzle game. It doesn't have a lot of content, but if you have friends to play with, or if you're patient like I am, I might sometimes do the endless mode where you can endlessly try to go for high scores before you die, when the whole board is full of dice and you can't move them anymore. That's the idea of the game, move dice and line up numbers. So it's a puzzle game. And yeah, if I had plenty of players to play with, especially good ones, I could use to multi-tab again and play it with a big group. This game supports 5 players, and it's really good. It's really good. It's a really cool game. While I don't play it a lot, I'm really glad that I finally got this in my collection, especially the Scandinavian copy. And one game I haven't played that much yet. I've only tried it once, and that was also with friends out of curiosity. Ghoul Panic. And this is a game compatible with these gun cons. And yeah, it's a shooting game. That's all I'll say. I was just curious to get it, and I got that at the same time as I got the Harry Potter one from the same flea market. And here, probably my most valuable or second most valuable or tied to the most valuable in my collection. Klonoa, Tour de Phantomile. And this is the last of the games that arrived today, all at the same time. I'm really relieved that they finally arrived. I bought them a long time ago. But anyway, I didn't desperately want this game, but I was curious because I have Klonoa 2 over there, still in factory seal. So now I have the PS1 game as well. You can see there's a Point Blank demo inside, and it's actually inside here. But who cares about the demo as long as we have the game? Oh, and I got the Klonoa for only 50 euros, even though it's normally worth around 100, so I got it for half the price. As well as this, Mega Man X5. This is also worth like 100 euros. That's how valuable they are. But the only con about this particular copy is that the back cover page is ripped off, but other than that, it's cool. And the disc is, well, the disc is actually, yeah, there's some marks, but it totally works. So yeah, this and Klonoa I was very lucky with. Now if only I could get Cooler World for 50 years as well, because it's also worth like 100. Some of the most valuable PS1 games out there. And then I'll show these two at the same time. Point Blanks 1 and 3. What the hell happened to 2? I haven't gotten it yet because I haven't been interested. I just got, well, this is not the copy, but I got Point Blank at the same time as I got the Concons. They were in the same lot. You know, makes sense, Point Blank. A game that's compatible with Concons. I got, well, it actually had one Concon. I just realized I got the second Con later, and then I replaced the old copy. It was really worn, so now I have a scratchless disc. And then I got 3 out of curiosity just to see how they compare, and I gotta say I like the first one better for some reason. But I'll get Point Blank 2 at some point, but for now these are more than enough because I don't even play often with the Concons. And now we have only 2 games remaining. But first, Tekken 3. We played this a lot back in the day. With again a pirated disc, burnt disc, and now I have a legit copy of my own. And yeah, it's a classic. And then the last one, save the best for last, even though it's not the best. A really unique game, Whip Ribbon. There's actually, this is a game where the levels are generated by music or sounds, audio in the first place. So it's like if you know the game Audio Surf, you know, it generates the levels from audio. It's the same idea. You can use any disc which has audio in it to generate levels with, but it hasn't caught my interest, but I decided to get it anyway. And no, I don't have the poster. The original comes with a poster of Whip Ribbon, but it wasn't in there, so I'll get it later. Anyway, that's all of my PS1 games for now. And just to be thorough, I'm gonna show you this stack real quickly. These are duplicates and games I will sell later, so there's obviously a few games that I already have and showed you. And then there's the old Mullen copy. And then GTA 2. Oh my god. I went through a lot of trouble getting the correct one, but I'll get into that in another video. And this is football. I had to get it from a lot. I didn't want to get it. I think, yeah, it was actually the same lot with the Point Blank and the Congon. And yeah, and 1 platinum. You get that out of my face. Yeah. So that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you're curious, I can do a video on my PS2 collection as well. Obviously I showed you accessories and consoles already, but what about the games? If you want to, I can do a video on them, but if you're not interested, then I won't bother. I will say this though, I mentioned Klonoa 2 being still in factory seal, and that's true. I haven't wanted to open it because I will only open it once I reach 500 subscribers on YouTube, and that's only because that would give me some incentive to not get rid of the seal that easily. So once we reach 500, I will break the seal, play the game, and get it over with. The value will decrease, but at least we get to play the game. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a thumbs up if you like my collection, my commentary. And yeah, if you have any questions, including wanting to see the PS2 collection, let me know. And that's all. Oh, actually, one more thing. Now we're done here.